subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello. In this video, we will discuss the summary of the play, The Alchemist. First of all, let's have a brief introduction to the play. The play was first performed on the stage in 1610 and was printed in 1612. The play had the most brilliant stage of all Johnson's plays, even surpassing Volpone. Its first performance was given at Oxford when all the theatres were closed due to plague. Alchemist is a person who knows the science of alchemy. Alchemy was a form of chemistry studied in the Middle Age that involved discovering how to change the ordinary metals into gold. The title of the play clearly shows that the main character in the play is a person who knows the science of alchemy. However, the theme of the play is greed and lust. Summary of Act First. The opening scene takes place in the house of a man called Lovett in the city of London. As the city is caught in the plague, Lovett has gone away to his country home and has left his London house in the charge of Jeremy. In the opening scene, we are being introduced to three characters. Face, who is a housekeeper, Settle, who pretends to be an alchemist, and Dole Common, who is a prostitute but pretends to be a respectable woman and a helper of Settle. In the opening scene, Face and Settle are quarreling with each other. Dole tries to placate both of them, but neither of them pays attention to her. Face calls Settle a puppy and a slave. Settle in response calls Face an insect taken out of dung. Dole once again tries to calm them down. She tells them if they do not stop their quarrel, then they cannot continue with the business of alchemy. Both Settle and Face stop their quarrel and promise that they would do their best to flourish their business of alchemy. In the next scene, Dapper, who is a clerk to a lawyer, visits Settle in the same house. Dapper demands that he should have a powerful spirit with him who can help him to win money at gambling parties. At first, Settle rejects to invoke spirits, but later on agrees to help Dapper. Face then provokes Dapper to give some money to Settle as his fee. As Dapper leaves, another man called Drugger enters. Drugger is a tobacconist who has come to visit Settle for his bright future. He wants to build a shop of his own at the corner of a street and wants the alchemist's advice so that his business will flourish. Settle replies that he knows the science of metaposcopy and the science of palmistry. He tells Drugger that he has observed his lines on his forehead and has seen a ship coming from Persian Gulf which would bring enormous profit to him. Drugger is ready to offer a crown, but Face somehow manages to extract more money from Drugger. As Drugger leaves, Dole comes and informs that Sir Mamoun is at their door with his friend Surly. Summary of Act Second. Mamoun tells Surly that they have come to a house which is rich and has golden mines inside it. Both Mamoun and Surly are received by Face. Mamoun introduces Face to Surly and calls him the lungs of the alchemist. He then tells Surly that he will make everyone rich after he gets Philosopher's Stone, which Settle has promised him to give him after the completion of alchemical process. Surly tells Mamoun that unless he sees the transformation of metals into gold with his own eyes, he won't believe. Face suddenly appears and informs that an accident in the laboratory has broken the retort and much of the content is split. Settle replies that the damage can be repaired and needs materials worth £10. Mamoun readily produced the amount of £10 to Face to buy the material that is needed. As the debate between Settle and Surly ends, Dole shows her appearance at the door and Mamoun catches a glimpse of her. In curiosity, Mamoun asks Face who that lady is. Face tells him that she is the sister of a lord who often has fits of madness and has been sent here for treatment. Mamoun now looks more interested in the woman and wants to satisfy his lust at any cost. Surly tells Mamoun that the woman looks a prostitute in his opinion. Mamoun rejects Surly's claim and tells Face to introduce him with the lady. Mamoun gives money to Face and Face promises him to introduce him to the lady when she is in her right mind. In the next moment, Face appears in the disguise of a servant to Captain Face and informs Surly that Captain Face wants to see him in the church within half an hour. Surly agrees, but inwardly he decides to meet him in the disguise of a Spanish gentleman. Mamoon and Surly leaves and promise to return in the afternoon with plenty of base metals. In another moment, Ananias, who is an Anabaptist, appears to meet Subtle. He has come from Amsterdam to meet Subtle to get philosopher's stone. Subtle asks for more money in order to buy more coal for his alchemical process. Ananias replies that he had already paid £30. Subtle becomes furious and demands more money from Ananias within an hour, and Ananias leaves in anger. Dragger now appears, who has come to get a lucky sign which can give him prosperity. Subtle makes a sign and gives it to Dragger. Meanwhile, Dragger reveals that a rich widow, Damplant, and her brother have come to live in the neighborhood. Damplant wishes to know her future from the alchemist, and her brother, Castle, wants to take lessons in the art of quarrel. Face tells Dragger that he should bring the widow with himself so that the alchemist can read her future, and Castle can also take lessons from Subtle. When Dragger leaves, Face and Subtle makes a secret plan of marrying the rich widow. They agree to draw lots in order to decide which of them should marry her. But both also promise to keep it secret from Dole. Summary of Act 3rd. Ananias now appears again in time with Tribulation before Subtle. Subtle tells them if they had not come in time, he would have wrecked the whole laboratory. Tribulation apologizes to Subtle for Ananias' behavior and is ready to pay the extra money which Subtle has demanded. Subtle then starts praising Philosopher's Stone. Though Ananias raises several questions, Tribulation tells him to keep quiet. Meanwhile, Face appears again, who has gone to meet Surly in the temple in the disguise of a captain. He informs Subtle that he waited for a long time, but Surly did not come. Face tells Subtle, though he could not meet Surly, but he met a Spanish count from whom they can extract plenty of money. Face tells him they can use Dole to gratify the lust of Spanish count, and both Subtle and Face ask Dole to get ready to entertain the new guest, the Spanish count. Now Draper comes again to receive the favor of Queen of Fairies. Subtle had told him that Queen of Fairies is his aunt. Just then, Dragger, accompanied by Castle, also arrives there. Face speaks to Castle in such a way that he gets ready to bring his sister there. When Castle leaves, Face decides to marry the rich widow, the sister of Castle. Suddenly, Dole comes and informs them that Sir Mamoon is at the door. Both Subtle and Face gag Dapper's mouth and put him in a toilet. Summary of Act 4. In this act, Mamoon seems much interested in Dole Common as he is in getting the Philosopher's Stone. Shortly, Dole, who is richly dressed, appears before Mamoon, and Mamoon requests her that he should be allowed to kiss her dress. But Dole willingly offers her lips to him. Face comes and tells both of them to move to the chamber upstairs so that they will feel comfortable. Castle and his widowed sister, Damplant, now come to see Subtle. Subtle welcomes them and promises Castle that he would give him excellent lessons in the art of quarreling. Subtle tells Damplant that she would soon become a great lady and kisses her. Face now arrives with the news that Spanish Count is waiting at the door. Subtle quickly takes Castle and Damplant to an upper room. As Surly, in the disguise of a Spanish Count, enters, he pretends that he does not know English. When Subtle and Face understand that the Spanish Count does not know English, they tell each other that his box would be emptied and he would be robbed of everything. The Spanish Count is impatient and asks both of them to call a woman immediately. Both Subtle and Face then decide to supply Damplant to Spanish Count, and they somehow convinced her to sleep with him and get married with the Spanish Count. Face now goes to Mamoon's room, where he somehow tells Dole to pretend madness. Dole immediately pretends to be mad in front of Mamoon and starts talking about monarchs, Jewish priests, and ancient pagan Greeks. Subtle tells Mamoon that he is making love in the house where alchemical process takes place. He further tells him that because of his evil deeds, the alchemical process will stop any time. Suddenly, a sound of an explosion is heard, and Face comes hurriedly to Subtle and informs him that the alchemical process ended in smoke and the whole laboratory is damaged. Now Subtle blames Mamoon that his lustful pleasures have ended the alchemical process into a disaster. Face demands £100 from Mamoon to continue the alchemical process, and Mamoon agrees to pay the price. Subtle now tells Face to bring away damn plant from Spanish Count, who might have enjoyed sexual intercourse. Meanwhile, Face comes to their room and asks them if they have enjoyed each other. He then starts searching the pockets of the Spanish Count, and Spanish Count gives him a blow. Now Spanish Count reveals his identity as Surly and tells Face that he will reveal all their criminal activities which they have been performing in the house. As Face finds himself and the alchemist in danger, calls Castle and provokes him to quarrel with Surly and show his art of skills. Drugger and Ananias appear at the same time and are told by Face to start accusing Surly. Drugger at once calls Surly a cheater, and Ananias calls him a heathen and a devil. When Surly finds himself surrounded by cheaters, he leaves the house. Face now suggests Drugger to marry Damn Plant, but in order to do so, he must disguise himself as a Spanish Count. Drugger accepts and leaves to get a Spanish dress. Suddenly Dole appears and informs Face that the master of the house has returned and is talking with neighbors outside. Now the master is Lovett, who had left his house in the charge of Jeremy. Face now tells his partners to pack all their goods and the booties into their trunks. Face then decides to resume his real face as Jeremy the butler. Summary of Act 5. Lovett is informed by his neighbors that a lot of people visit his house daily. He is surprised and starts knocking at the door of his house. As he gets no response, he decides to break the door. But now Face appears in his real face as Jeremy and tells Lovett that the house is infected because of plague, and he will not allow anyone in the house unless it is cleaned and disinfected. Now Mamoon comes along with Surly to claim his goods and to take action against the culprits. But Mamoon and Surly do not recognize Face because he is in butler's uniform. When Mamoon tells them that there are cheaters in the house, Face tells them that the house has been kept closed for last 1 month and the keys are in his custody. Mamoon now leaves and decides to bring police for the investigation. Now Ananias and Tribulation arrive and start knocking at the door. When they get no response, they leave disappointed and abuse everybody in the house. After they leave, Lovett now becomes suspicious of Jeremy's role in the whole affair. Suddenly, Lovett hears a loud noise coming from the inside of the house. It is the voice of Dapper, who was gagged and put inside the toilet. Jeremy tells his master that it is not the voice of a human but of some spirit in the air. Subtle asks Dapper not to shout, otherwise whole thing will be spoiled. Lovett now demands to know the truth from Jeremy. Now Jeremy tells everything about their enterprise undertaken in the partnership with Dole and Subtle. Inside the house, Subtle tries to deal with Dapper and tells him that the Queen of Fairies is annoyed with him. Jeremy now goes inside the house and tells Subtle that he somehow managed to keep his master away from the house for 1 night. Meanwhile, Subtle and Dole make a plot against Jeremy. They believe that Jeremy would marry Damn Plant and will violate the agreement. They decide to slip to Redcliffe with all the booty they have extracted from their clients. But in reality, Jeremy has changed his plans. Jeremy has planned to offer Damn Plant to Lovett so that he will forgive him. As Subtle and Dole have packed up their trunks according to their plan, Face appears there. Face tells them that his master has pardoned him and they cannot take anything from the house. Face tells them in order to escape from the police, they can climb the rear wall of the house and can flee. Subtle and Dole are stunned and both of them quit the house quickly. Drugger now appears with Spanish dress for himself to marry Damn Plant, but the dress is worn by Lovett, who marries Damn Plant. After the marriage takes place, the clients arrive with police to take necessary action against the cheaters. Lovett tells them that his butler, namely Jeremy, has mistakenly let out his house to some mysterious characters who have already fled from the house. Ananias and Tribulation also arrive there and leave disappointed. The play ends with two speeches, one by Lovett and another by Face. Lovett in his speech forgives his butler Jeremy, while Jeremy in his speech promises that the money he has acquired will be spent on the future audiences.